Thank you, Brother Kwame. Um, Thank you for that good introduction. And thanks again also for the content of proceedings. Revolutionary Pan-African greetings to you all. I welcome you all to this meeting of today, Unification of Africa, the impact of Ishowspeed visit to Africa. I welcome you, Grace Sister Chisomo. There's a Brother Pigeon in the house.
Yes, Awindo, come around.
Welcome, Brother Pigeon. Welcome, General Anunnaki. Welcome, Sister Portia. Philip Springer, welcome. And Brother Philip, also welcome. And in absentia, all of those who will be joining us, they are hardly welcomed. Obviously, Brother Kwame, you are the first to be welcome because you opened the meeting. Having said that, this is our program for the unification of Africa as a part of our CSG class. This is a safe space where everyone should feel respected, where everyone's opinion should be respected, and where everyone should share their thinking. So once again, a hearty welcome to you all. As per the content of proceedings, Sister Portia, you would be next to give us an update on, amongst others, Iran, without leading. So please, my sister, you are welcome, and give us an update of what is happening around the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Elder. Welcome and many greetings to all. This is Portia here. To provide a weekly update in my methodology, I'll go through that as usual so you know the sources. So I am using All Africa News, and I did a bit more researching about who actually owns All Africa. And I will put it in the chat, but basically there are three main people, and this is according to All Africa 2024 article. And namely, there are three people. I've already mentioned that one of them is Senegalese. The two other people that I did mention last week, I want to mention their names now, which is, according to this All Africa article, is Reed Kramer, Tammy Holtman. And I'm going to put it in the links in the chat, and I encourage you to look because these two persons have ties, according to this All Africa News article, to the US government. And then there is a WikiLeaks article that names for certain one of those two persons. The second person, I haven't verified that that is actually that person's name, but definitely one of those two persons I've just mentioned, Tammy Holtman and Reed Kramer, are in a WikiLeaks report, and it is a concerning report. So I'll put those in the chat, and that is the source, one of the sources that I'm going to read some headlines to you today. And then another clarification. A couple of weeks back, I was saying that, as y'all know about my homeless situation, I said that I visit food pantries. And I have been saying to those pantries that they should look at an article. I will put that article in the chat because in the food pantries that I've been to in the States, here in the United States, they have ingredients of bioengineered food. And so this link that I'm going to put in the chat is saying a report that came out last year about bioengineered food. And I encourage you to look at that. And another name for bioengineered food is GMO. So now to the headlines from all Africa. Advanced iGaming technologies, insights from casino and betting agents. Africa, capital ACOZIBOROLE, Winthrop, developed by DNDi and Sanofi, receives European Medicines Agency positive opinion as 3-tablet single-dose treatment for most common form of sleeping sickness. Going next to the headlines. Africa, Spiro raises 50 million to accelerate Pan-African electric mobility expansion. African Development Bank launches USD 2 billion, 3.625% 5-year global benchmark due March 2031. Cameroon and African Development Bank Group launches Euro 136 million jobs program in far north region. Côte d'Ivoire, Epstein files reveal links to Senegal, Côte d'Ivoire power circles. Ethiopia, Djibouti agree to deepen cooperation at capital DORALEH port amid shifting Red Sea geopolitics. Ghana strap export ban to generate US $300 million annually. Pres Mahama, Nigeria, ignore Facebook posts using videos of Nigerian billionaire Aliko Dangote to promote fake investment program. Pesalink and PAPS unlock cross-border payments in local currencies in Kenya. Rwanda, DR Congo challenges Rwanda's capital MUSHIKIWABO with Lumumba bid for Francophonie top job. San Tome and Principe, Shuttleworth to pay Principe residents $958 stipend to preserve island. Southern Africa, new program to equip 18 million youth and enable jobs in Eastern and Southern Africa. Last two headlines. Tanzania marks 120 years of Maji Maji resistance. Uganda, new AFCFTA Agra Alliance targets farmer-centered intra-African trade. Now to the next source, which is Pan-African Newswire, just a couple of more headlines. And the person who is listed here, I'll say his name. I haven't done further research into his background, and that is capital ABAYOMI, capital AZIKIWE, and he is African. So in that news source, to wrap up, residents of eastern DR Congo city fear disease after discovery of mass graves. South Africa starts mass cattle vaccination program to halt foot and mouth outbreak. Uganda police arrest 2 women for allegedly kissing in public. Widening rift between Eritrea and Ethiopia sparks fear of new conflict. Zimbabwe bans all raw material exports with immediate effect. Zimbabwe walks away from a 360 million US health deal over sovereignty concerns. And Zionist President Isaac, capital HERZOG, arrives in Addis Ababa for official visit. And lastly, in terms of the the accuracy of this news, I only went to one source, and that source is saying all Africa has a less biased rating, but the person who gives that rating is of European heritage appearing, and it's an article out that says that his bias rating is questionable. And I will put that in the chat. Thank you, Chair. Back over to you.
Thank you so much, my sister. And while we are there, welcome Sister Amma, Sister Ida, Sister Tapua, and my own Chasa. Welcome to this meeting. Anyone in the meeting who want to have a comment on what Sister Portia just has delivered to us? Or any additional news that you have? Who has got the latest on the development in Iran? In the absence of any such, Brother Pigeon, we want to introduce the topic of the day formally to the meeting. Thank you.
Yes, Awindo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. And the meeting, I believe the meeting can hear you.
Now, comrades, welcome to our session today. And as you have been welcomed by Brother Kwame, Brother Awindo, today we are actually interested to look at this topic and the tour of Ishowspeed in Africa. And first of all, thank you, Sister Portia, for that overview of what's going on in the continent. Our intention today is to look at that Ishowspeed tour. To some of us, maybe we never followed it, some of us followed it, but Sister Chisomo was very focal on that update on what was going on. So we want to hear the means, the gains, and the controversies around that, because there are also people with contrary opinion that maybe there's something that happened or whether it was there were conspiracies around it. So we'll give probably back to you, Chair, Sister Portia, Sister Chisomo, to take us through the general genesis, how it took place, to all that she can remember. And anybody can maybe give the version. I think we have two speakers, and then we can move it like that. But once again, feel most welcome. And yes, back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Brother Pigeon. Thank you very much. Brother Kwame, are we in sync?
I think so.
Thank you so much, Brother Kwame. Thanks once again, everybody in the meeting. Let me take this opportunity to introduce the first presenter, Sister Grace Chisomo. The floor is all yours. Feel welcome. We are all here to assist you while we are listening to you. The floor is yours. Please give us that Ishowspeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and I'll try my best because as we saw in the group, it's a complicated character and also difficult to understand the way he works. So I'll try my best to explain how I have researched into how he works and how the whole system works, how he ends up in Africa, what happened in Africa, and what's happened after he's gone. So, like I said, very complex character. That's how I end up with so many slides. But it's because I'm trying to explain to get myself understood. Yeah. So I'll get going. So Ishowspeed, like I said, is a very energetic character. And his streaming style is also very, very energetic. And he interacts with the community, engages with the community, through the social media, through the internet, the system that he's set up with his management, and streaming live and sometimes in his room. So he was living with his mom, and as you can see, a young boy at 11 just started streaming from his room, playing games live with people, and the whole thing grew from there. And that was in 2016. And so he was uploading to YouTube, and the whole thing, whatever he was doing there, went viral, and people started posting shorts. He was posting some, and they were being shared, and they would go viral. And by when he was 16, he became very popular. He became a millionaire. As we know, social media, those who know how to use social media, I'm still trying to work it out. They do make a lot of money. We know Odemaya is one of YouTuber in the continent that has also embarked on promoting Africa, and his program is Africa to the World, Changing the Narrative. So Ishowspeed became too famous whilst he was in school. In the end, he had to drop out because he was just too famous. So he dropped out of school because he couldn't attend classes anymore. And his mom persuaded him to do his diploma online. But because of the way he does his streaming, obviously it's chaotic, very noisy, and mom wasn't coping. And also his own followers, his own audience would play pranks on him, calling the police on him. And some of it would just be racial abuse. So the police would turn up, arrest him, and he's trying to explain he's done nothing wrong. I watched one video where somebody called the police and said he's about to kill his mom. And so the police turns up, you know, the American police, the way they turn up at people's doors with guns and everything, so many of them, only to find him in the garden playing football, and he was on his own at home. So they arrested him, put cuffs on him, and the boy next door then tried to explain to him that it's a prank. He hasn't done anything. They wouldn't listen to him. So fortunately, he got a number from one of the neighbors to call his mom, and the mom came, and he said, "But I'm not at home. How is he trying to kill me?" So that's what happens also when some of our people are trying to progress with their own work. You get people starting to cause problems for you. So in the end, mom, the arguments went on with mom trying to stop him or reduce his streaming, but he couldn't. And so he left home and went to live with his dad because mom and dad had been separated. So when we went to dad, dad would let him do what he has to do. And that's when the journey began. And one of the people he works with, his cameraman, then decided, why don't we do it from outside instead of doing it in your room? Let's try working from outside. And that's when the global journey began, just going through cities, towns, By this time, including the African visit, he has done 52 countries, according to the internet, which is not also sometimes trustworthy, especially when our people are trying to progress themselves. They will suppress and water down the reports. But anyway, some have said it's over 80. I've tried to check again and again, and they're saying it's not 80, it's 52 in 6 continents. And apparently there's something called a truffle tracker that tells you where he's been or whatever, except one country in Oceania. So again, he shares his experiences when live streaming and connecting with global audience that way. Because when I first discovered him on YouTube the other day, I was wondering when he came to Africa, why the crowds were so huge. And I'm thinking, how did they know him? Because I'd never come across him. How did they know him? Obviously, they know how to communicate. We saw what happened in Kenya. They know how to mobilize, to communicate. So he mastered it, and he's doing what he has to do. And he's with us in this way now. So according to so since he's been to Africa and all these other places, everybody also taps into him. When you publish him, it means you also get the views, you also get the subscribers. So this guy here called Golf Cat, just reporting this one video. I want to be playing the videos, but I suppose I could play a little bit of this one. But anyway, he's got 1.5 million views in 11 months, just this particular video. And he says, Ishowspeed isn't just a streamer. He's a cultural phenomenon who has shattered the American media bubble. At just 20 years old, he has cracked the code to pulling in some of the biggest crowds we've seen since the days of Michael Jackson. And his growth has been nothing short of inspiration. The scary part is he's just getting started. And I've seen so many people say the same thing. He's just started. What is he going to do next? He can do whatever he likes. And according to the records, he's the top streamer on the planet. That's what they say. So he works with a team of people, and this is the team that he works with, the cameraman, and one of his friends. He walks around with two bodyguards. One is a Caribbean, and the other one is Ghanaian. And he uses Cristiano Ronaldo as his trademark to basically, because I think he's an athlete into football and things like that, and his model is Cristiano Ronaldo. So he kind of goes everywhere. So which means by supporting Cristiano Ronaldo, all the Cristiano Ronaldo supporters follow him as well, because they're all discussing Ronaldo and supporting Ronaldo on top of all the other things they do. Because I think they also have games that Cristiano Ronaldo related. And then his dad is very supportive. He's very calm with him. His brother also very calm, and he's always there for him, always at his house when he's working. And that's how he's managed to get to where he is today. Like everybody says, if you have good people around you, everything works for the better. So his major achievement at the moment is, I'll try and read these little letters here. He's built the fastest growing YouTube channel, reaching 50 million subscribers and over 7 billion total views by 2026, obviously because of the African tour as well. He won the Breakthrough Streamer of the Year in 2022 at the Streaming Awards, recognizing his rapid rise on online streaming. He won Streamer of the Year in 2024 and 2025 Streamer Awards, showing sustained global popularity. He became known worldwide for his high-energy live streaming, influencing internet culture, and through vital clips and memes. Successfully expanded beyond gaming in IRL travel streaming, visiting multiple countries and attracting millions of live viewers. He's also a musician. It seems he released music that achieved international chart success in 2022, a single, something to do with the World Cup. How do I get rid of this? I want something
Yes.
covering.
Yes, I was going to alert you that there is an upside down rectangle. Yes, that is covering your screen. I think it's become small. It has become smaller now.
Yes, yes.
So,
yeah, and then he transitioned from the bedroom streamer to a global recognized internet personality before the age of 20. As we know, he became 20 when he was in Africa. On that day, he was in Nigeria and he was celebrating his birthday on the streets of Nigeria. So these are the people in his team. Production team, security team, and logistics. And he uses very complex equipment as well. Handheld cameras, mobile encoders, streaming units, portable battery packs, mobile charging system. There's one video that's come out, which is the behind the scenes of the African tour. So it seems they buy loads and loads of SIM cards in it for each country, and they load them, sometimes 12 at a time, just to make sure they've got enough network and they've got enough battery so it doesn't die out. That's why he's able to stream a minimum of at least 6 hours per day. So he just walks around, getting involved in all sorts of activities, engaging with people and whatever that happens. So everything is live. Everything is live with the audience. It's live with the audience. And also, oops, how do I go back? Yeah, so I think we've seen how the YouTube, when you're live on YouTube, you get the chat running with people watching, making comments. So he calls those people chat. So when he's walking around, he's got strapped on his arm his phone, so he can see himself, how the cameramen are portraying him on the screen, what we're watching. And then he's also monitoring what the chat is saying and doing and recommending. So the chat will recommend, will guide him. So if he's in a place and the people who are watching are seeing something that's interesting or something that's threatening, or so they will advise him. They'll start saying something in the chat and he actually responds to them, either move away or speak to the person that they keep saying, talk to that person, talk to that person. So he follows that and he's interacting with them. And if there's something threatening, or they'll say, move away, move away. Sometimes he's very, very tired. He can't, because he's streaming for 2 long hours, which means he sleeps very late. And they'll say things like, take some water, take a break. But break is not something he takes. He'll say, no, I can't take a break, I'm working. Don't you understand that I'm working? I can't take a break. And they speak in codes like W chat, L chat, for long hours. So as we've heard, by January 26, he clocked 50 million. He's now at 15 million point 7 with 7 billion total views. Views by the time he's finished the African tour. Sometimes he has 15 to 23 million per day. And in Ethiopia, when he was in Ethiopia, for the 20 hours he did, it was 10 million in one day. In Kenya, 10 million in a month by the end of the month, and 5 million for the South Africa. We're talking about one video for Ethiopia, one video for Kenya, because he would have done one stream only. Remember, he would go to country, the next country the following day, the next country the following day. So one video of Ethiopia, 10 million, one video of Kenya, 96 million views. So he moves on like that, and it builds up, it builds up, it builds up. I think when he came to Africa, he was at 47 or 40 something. By the time he left, he was over 50 million. And that's how he makes his money. The views, the views, the subscribing, the likes, the sharing, everything makes him money. So that's why he never stops. And I didn't check how much he's worth at the moment. So factors behind the viewing, again, is the interaction, all the energy that he has. He's very, very energetic. Sometimes you're watching him and you're getting worried. The audience is getting worried. But his dad is cool, because when he's streaming in Africa like that, his father is also watching. Then father does a shortened view, an edited view, because his is live. So does that, the channel is called Daddy Speed. He then does a shortened version, an edited version, just like any other YouTuber will edit after videoing. So the edited ones are showed on the father's channel. So in that way, they're still building viewers and subscribers through dad, and then YouTubers themselves are also sharing his content through clips, through Facebook, through YouTube, TikTok. So the whole thing just spreads and spreads, and the net widens that way. So, like I said, before he came to Africa, he was traveling anyway in different countries. As we know, most of us out here in the West, when we take our holidays or we're going anywhere, the preferable destinations are the West itself, and people avoid Africa and they go to all these other places. So he's been to all these other places, almost every continent, but had never been to Africa. So this chart here shows some of the top places he's achieved more subscribers and viewers and whatever. So the leading one is Indonesia, followed by Ethiopia and Kenya recently after going to Africa. And the rest of them are there. As we can see, Morocco is lagging behind, and Algeria, because of what happened when he got there. There was a lot of in the community, it was fine, and they had prepared for him. They had organized all sorts of activities and games and whatnot. But there was football, both in, I think, Morocco and Algeria. That's when problems start, when he turned up at the football game. At the football game, they had asked him to be a mascot at one, and then the other one, he was just on the stands. But obviously, because the audience is also watching him on their phones, they know he's in the stadium. The haters started throwing bottles at him, literally throwing bottles. That was in, I think it was Morocco. And then he just left the stadium and left the country immediately, because remember, he's traveling with a private hired jet, and he can leave at any time, or he can leave the place at any time, because he doesn't tie himself to any arrangements that's there. He can leave when he wants to, and if he doesn't like it. So he just said, no, I'm leaving. I don't think they want me here. and he left the country and went to the next one. I think that's when he went to Algeria when what's that team that was playing in the finals? Again, there was an incident there, but nothing to do with him, but it was the players. But I think he's very clever when something like that happens. I remember he left the stadium and went to the back room. And then there was something going on at the back room, and he was asking me, what's happening? What's happening? And they said, oh, it was just a break. It was just a break, only to find that there was an incident on the pitch. The footballer, something was going on there, but he didn't show that. I suppose to support the Senegal. I think it was Senegal playing to support Senegal and not show any controversy because he's with the host country and Senegal is a visiting team. So he was kind of caught in between. So now, usually when he's streaming, because he's very popular, like I said, haters will call police, arrests. And one day he was standing outside a KFC. He likes KFC a lot. So when he sees a KFC, even when he was in Africa, when he sees KFC, he just gets so excited. Anyway, he was in a local KFC out there in America, and police just surrounded him. He was literally sitting outside by himself. I think he was waiting for someone who was inside. And suddenly he's surrounded by numbers of police trying to arrest him, and he's asking, what have I done? What have I? I'm just waiting for my food. So it's things like that continuously going on. He's been banned from local shopping malls because every time he gets there are crowds, huge crowds, just following him around. But at the same time, people hurling racial slurs and things like that. When he went to Japan, they even banned streaming. So anywhere he went, they wouldn't let him into a shop or stream or talk to anybody, just hostile. So coming to Africa was a big game changer for him because of the way he was received and the way people welcomed him. So now here it talks about the challenges when you're streaming live, streaming in public spaces. It's risky, it's not safe. Most times when he was in different places, he had to hire extra security to help out because he's only 2 bodyguards, especially in the places where he was being harassed and things like that. And also sometimes technical issues and the streaming equipment or networks and whatever. I remember when he was in Nigeria, as he's celebrating his birthday and he's showing cakes and he's saying, I'm 21, suddenly his phone is, I think it was hacked, and it starts receiving calls because he doesn't receive calls on that particular phone. He keeps getting phones, he keeps getting phone calls, so he can't do what he needs to do or monitor anything on his phone. Because when he's monitoring, he's also talking to the cameraman, telling the cameraman to correct whatever it is they're not doing right. So that couldn't happen. These people kept calling him, but if he tried to respond to the calls, it was kind of Asian accents. I don't know whether it was imitated or whether it was the Asian community. Anyway, the phone wasn't working and it stopped working completely. He had to borrow one of the staff phones to do it. And when that happens, it means the whole count on views and subscribers is lagging, because on the screen you can see the numbers going up, and you can see it when they're lagging. And because of that, he can't stay in one place for too long. So that kind of caused problems when he was in Africa, because Africans like to, when they receive you, they want you to sit down, they want you to talk to you, they want to tell you what they've organized and who is there. And he hasn't got time for that. He hasn't got time for that. He needs to keep moving. He needs to keep moving. He needs to find interesting people. He needs to find interesting things. He needs to get involved in what's going there, whether it's dancing, boxing, or wrestling. There was just so many activities going on. But the elders, let's say if they are tourism people, they want to try and talk about tourism. He's not here for that. He just wants the common man on the street and the ordinary community people. Somehow, the whole thing, the way it was organized, there were a lot of elderly groups, which was very interesting. Elderly cultural groups. They would receive him in different villages, go through rituals. Two countries would ask him to touch a tree and say his wish and pray and say his wish to the ancestors. They did the is it the libel where you pour drinks on the floor and stuff like that. A lot of ritual stuff that was going on, and he just cooperated. Apart from his hyper behavior, when it comes to stuff like that, he was really into it, because to himself, I'm now home. I'm African. I have to go through the process, you know. So they'll take him in Eswatini. It was the same thing in Benin, Ivory Coast. They'll dress him. Everywhere he went, he was given a name. He was given a name in all these places. And then they took him also to the in Benin. They took him to the historical the door of no return. That was a really emotional moment. And there was a couple there that became citizens. So he was asking about citizenship, how to get citizenship in Benin. And the girl was explaining how she got hers. And then something to do with DNA. So he was checking on his phone just to remind himself what his DNA says, because usually it's not one country. It's not one country. So he was checking with his bodyguards, but telling the bodyguards not to say what they're saying. And he was shaking his head as if to not to say yes. So maybe he's got Benin in him as well. He really liked Benin. He said it was a very nice country. And then, yeah, so these are the 20 countries that he went to in Africa. So the intention, he's done an interview now to give feedback on the tour. And he says he just wanted to know to show what Africa really is. And because he knew he was from Africa, but he just wanted to go and see. In previous videos, he's arguing with his dad to say, Dad, don't you think we're African? Don't you think we're African? And Dad is saying, no, we came here a long time ago, 400 years. We can't be. And Rudy is his other bodyguard, the African one. He says, but he doesn't know. So he's saying, but anyway, my granny and my grandparents come from the Caribbean. So there's that thinking that you then stop becoming African, because when you went there, you're now there, therefore you're no longer. So that was the thing. But since this has happened, and he was watching and supporting him, he's now saying he wants to come to Africa. He wants to visit. He wants to go to some of the places that he likes. He liked the food. And now they actually eat jollof rice, because he was drawn into the jollof argument. They made him taste the one from Senegal, the one from Benin, the one from Ghana, the one from Nigeria, and they kept asking him which is the best, which is the best, which is the best. In the end, he said Nigeria. So so that has caused another stir. So, but according to according to, and he also announced saying that he's 100% African. I think he tries not to be, he tries to be politically correct without saying, I am such and such and such. So he says 100%, meaning I am all of you. I suppose there's that saying that says, what does it say? I am because you are, or you are because we are, something like that. So anyway, so he's 100%, he's 100% African. That's what he says. And as you can see from these pictures, everywhere he went through the process. Over here, he's going through, this is in Eswatini. He's going through a process where they're going to give him a name. And because they're saying he's never gone through a process, which means he's not a man yet, so they're now giving initiation for him to become a man. So that was what's happening there. And this other one, he's carrying a baby. This is in Senegal. Yeah, Senegal, the Gori Island. As he was going around, that's how he looks at his chart. So he's looking at his charts to see what people are saying, if they're warning him about something or telling him to do something. And this woman just came with her child and placed the child on his chest. And as he's going about doing things, he just held the child, and the child just leaned and slept. That was really moving. So now, these are the viewers in Africa. Just the last of the week. So on the 22nd, 7 billion views on the one stream. 7 million on the 23rd, 7 million. So it's around 7 million. And remember, in this last week is when his phone is giving him problems. So anyway, that's what was recorded, and that's what was recorded. Now the impact of the visit, how people see it, how we see it, is all different. It's causing divisions, just like it's causing divisions amongst us. It's also causing divisions in the diaspora. So anyway, over here it says perceived narratives about Africa and global perceptions. There is evidence being reported that a meaningful narrative disruption took place. Audiences, in particular young viewers, the diaspora, seeing unedited street level scenes, cultural practices, ordinary life at a large scale. But critics are saying the spectacle-driven coverage can still be flattened. Africa can still flatten Africa into a single stage for performance, especially when the creator's brand is built on hyperactive behavior. So they're looking at his behavior and then discrediting it. Not what is happening around him, but his behavior then says, nah, it's not real. It's not. They're ignoring how people are feeling towards what they're seeing. There's a saying that seeing is believing. So what they're seeing in Africa, not Ishowspeed, but Africa, the moment he lands in Egypt, I kind of lost the pictures. When he goes to the Sphinx and the pyramids, and things are being explained to him how they were built, and he does a close-up of how the blocks are put together and how huge those blocks are, and they managed to put them all together and come up with those pyramids. And then he had 3 what do you call them, paragliders. So they went up and flew over the whole pyramid area, taking a bird's eye view and going over the Sphinx itself, and then going inside it taking photos. I mean, just streaming everything inside there. And but when he first gets there, he then said to the guide, what happened to the nose? Where is the nose? So the man is trying to explain why the nose is missing. And he says it's because the people at the time used to think it was a god. Then they knocked the nose off to show people that it's not a god. That was his explanation. So that caused a stir on the internet, and people started, they've been lying to us for too long, blah, blah, blah. The issue about the pyramids. And then he went to the museum. In the museum, again, there were all these statues and things like that, and whatever it is. But all of them had no noses. And he says, again, they all don't have the noses. What's happening? So this time it's a woman who is the guide, and he says, no, because when they're moving them into the museum, the nose is the delicate part of the whole structure. So when it gets knocked. So he says, all of them? He says, yes, because it's too delicate. So the nose came off. So that again just caused problems on the internet. And then when he goes to Egypt and Morocco, and people are making opinions over these countries, we don't know why Black people go to these places. I'll never go there. I'll never go there. I'll never go there. So, but people ignore all that, the impact it's making on people. Some people are just looking at him, that he's not credible. So whatever he's showing then becomes nothing. So, and then also the activities that he was making, the world is watching, the customs in Africa, the costumes in Africa, the food in Africa. Everywhere they went, they showed him their food. In Egypt, in Morocco, everywhere he would be invited to taste the food. In Ethiopia, to taste the food. You see, when we're amongst ourselves, normally it's, don't just eat anything. There's poison. Usually you get advice not to just eat anything, not to drink water, not to take a drink in public, not to take a drink that somebody, he just ate anything, literally anything. So, and then like I said, the YouTubers, the influencers, who we call now social media influencers, were just everywhere. He was hounded by people. And in addition to the private jet that he travels with from country to country to country to country, when he's in the country, he has a little motorcade for his team and whoever he's engaging with in the country. When he sees somebody he likes on the streets, for example, a performer or another YouTuber that he's known before he's in the country, he takes them into the car and travel with them. But the cars in every single country was the same model, same make. So maybe he had an arrangement with a particular company. So it has a sunroof. He doesn't sit in the car. He sits on top of the car, so he can, speak and engage with the people following him. And it looks like all the kabaza, we call it kabaza in my country, the motorbikes, the transportation motorbikes, they must have hired all of them. They just followed him on motorbikes. I remember one guy in Nigeria, he ran, literally running together with the cars. And some people want to, because he's an athlete, he runs. So a lot of people will request to run with him, to challenge him, to say, I can beat you. So he contests with all these people. He beats almost all of them when they're running. So there were so many activities, cultural dances. In Benin, I think it was in Benin, when you have those dancers that dance on a stick with loads of grass on them, round and round, spiritual stuff. And then some people as well had problems with that. They were saying, oh, he's doing voodoo, he's doing ancestral stuff that's demonic and whatnot and whatnot. So people had all sorts of different opinions over it. And so the diaspora again was like, oh my God, is that how Africa looks? We were lied to, this and that. But then you had another group that says, oh, he's trying to convince us to say we are Africans, but we're not Africans. We're still not convinced. They said they are FBA. I think Sister Portia did a presentation last week, and he mentioned FBA, but these particular FBAs were saying they're not Africans. They still don't accept the Africans even after his trip. He's not convincing them. But for some strange reason, the leader of the FBA, oh God, I've forgotten his name, happened to be in Senegal the day Ishowspeed was in Senegal. Then that broke the internet as well. He's in Africa, he's in Africa. Why is he in Africa? Why is he in Africa? So he just responded saying, oh, I just went to see. I'm allowed to travel. That was his response. So yeah, so there's been a lot of reactions. And then the education community as well. The education community as well, using those visits to I suppose, extend on it or work with other groups. I think there's a video that there's a video link that I'm going to show later. They're discussing him and that they want to start exchange programs to teach these things about Africa and stuff. And then policy institutionals also responded. We saw Kenya's president commenting on his visit. John Dramini Mahama also made a comment about one of the activities that he got involved in, was saying, okay, we hope he comes back. And Ghana gave him citizenship at that point. But otherwise, there's enough evidence to people who didn't know Africa or about Africa that whatever opinions they had on Africa has kind of changed. Some people were saying, oh, we didn't know they were actually cars. I thought when he goes, he'll be working with children with flies on their bodies and whatnot, but we didn't see any of them. And himself was heard in Botswana saying, Africa is not what I thought. And again, diaspora reactions, a lot of people crying in disbelief. There was one particular guy who really, 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 really cried, and he went viral. And a lot of people have invited him and things like that to come over. So this is now first post. I think those who use YouTube will know first post. They published to say his trip in Africa has gone viral. These are some of the activities he was doing when he got there. And some countries will give him helicopters because some countries understood what was going on. I think these are the countries who've worked with Wodemaya before and have seen what Wodemaya does. And also in an interview with Wodemaya has confirmed that the trip was organized by Ghanaians on the continent and in the diaspora, but no names have been given. Just Wodemaya has come forward to say that. He says he hopes that those individuals will one day come and reveal themselves. But that's what. So other countries understood what these sort of things can have an impact on their countries and tourism and things like that. So they provided helicopters to make sure he gets where they want him to get to. Ghana did, and a few other countries gave him helicopters to go to places, because as Wodemaya was explaining, he can't be in one place for too long. He can't be in one place for too long, and the places he's visiting shouldn't be more than 15 minutes apart. So he doesn't want to spend too much time traveling instead of streaming with people on the street and things like that. So they gave him helicopters to get to the second spot without wasting too much time. But as to who funded the trip, it's still maintained that it's self-funded. But then he has a lot of endorsements. When he's wearing his shirts, they've got all these logos on them. So I suppose he's got multiple streams of income in addition to streaming. So he pays for these things. So these are now the responses from YouTube. When Speed went to Africa, America lost its mind. The narrative has collapsed, so people are talking and talking and talking over. But because of time, I'm not playing any of these videos. That's I don't know. I think this is Tariq here. Tariq is the one who heads the FBA. If I'm not mistaken, Sister Portia can correct me on that. But Tariq Nasheed is understood to be the one who advocates for FBA community. So he was in Senegal at the same time Ishowspeed was there. This is the video. I think this is the video when the guy I was talking about is in, but because of time, I'm not playing them. Again, this was just the institutional response from Ghana. They had their minister issue. I think because he's coming back again for part 2, so they don't want all these visa problems. And because although he's Black or he has identified as African, he still holds an American passport. And we know what's going on between America and Africa, especially with Namibia. Namibia wouldn't even let him in at the beginning, because I remember Namibia had said, whatever America does to our people, we will do to them when they come here, meaning charge them as much as they charge us, all sorts of things. So I suppose Ishowspeed came at the time when all these controversies were going on, but Ghana was supposed to be the last place because they were going to name him, they were going to do all these things, the passport thing and everything else. And because Ghana was at the front of organizing all this stuff, but then he had to leave Ghana again to rush to Namibia when Namibia said, okay, you can come. So the last stop became Namibia. In Kenya, the tourism people made sure they capitalized on it. They went into parks, they took him to Masai Mara, they took him to the Maasai people, where he was competing with them in jumping. He actually beat the Maasais in jumping higher. And also he went to the Masai Mara, seeing all these lions and stuff. And his excited self, he gets out of the car. They're trying to control him to come back in the car, because he usually does this backflip. So he wants to backflip somewhere near the lions, and he just did and went back into the car again. I think it was in South Africa where he raced with a cheetah, and it scratched his leg. Tanzania, I think he didn't go to Tanzania, and Tanzania people or whoever is complaining that Tanzania should have, maybe they didn't allow him to come. So they're now debating amongst themselves as to why they didn't take advantage of the trip. So recommendations to the educators. I've just taken the educators bit. It's recommended that educators. God, this thing is there again. Okay, educators and education adjacent organizations can treat tours like this as media literacy case studies, teach how the narrative about Africa are constructed using scholarships and representational patterns to compare against live streaming portrayals, build an assignment and triangulation, compares live stream clips with local journalism and historical sources for the same places, reinforcing epistemology, humility, and So I noticed that before Speed came to Africa, he had gone to his own school in Ohio, where he was a student, he was a pupil there. He went there, met all the teachers, went into every single class. The hysteria when they saw him, he spent the whole day there, went to his grandma, he walked around the blocks where he used to live, went to his high school, went to the elementary school, went to the football club, Cincinnati Football Club. There was some formalities going on there saying he's signing on to the team. I don't know whether it was just a mock-up or an actual sign up, because he seemed to be getting excited, saying, oh, this is what I've always wanted. And going to the mall again, so many people there, went to the restaurants he used to go, at KFC. Then KFC, the moment people know where he is, they just start coming. Then KFC, he seems to be obsessed with this KFC. So as he was in this KFC, and then some people started banging on the window, and the window just shattered, ended up with a broken window. Yeah, so obviously he's going there knowing I'm going to Africa. The school turns out to be a majority of Black people. So by when he gets to, so everybody has now known him in the school, because these are younger than he is now. So whoever wasn't following, when he gets to Africa, they get to see this Africa where they are supposed to have come from or originate from. So it's a good way of teaching. Gosh, what does it do? Okay, so otherwise, key milestone, obviously in Kenya. When he got to Kenya, he just couldn't believe the crowds. He's never had any crowds, such a big crowd. And we know Kenya does gather. I think it's because the people there, this is my assumption, the people there have got access to data, to all this technology. They know what's going on where and where he's going to be. Maybe they were told where he's going to be because there was a huge gathering. They say it was over 30,000, according to the reports from Kenya. That's what they're saying. And also in Nigeria, the 50 million, and he cried and cried and cried over the 50 million. And then his birthday over there. And then in Ghana, the citizenship, the traditional ceremony, it was really, really beautiful. And they gave him a name. Gosh, I need to get it right. Barima.
Mr. Chisomo,
Hello?
can you come towards wrapping up?
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's almost the end. Yeah. Barima Kofi Okufu is his name. After that, he went on the street asking, do you know my name? Do you know my name? And they would say, Speed. He says, no, that's not my name. My name is Barima Akufu. Yeah, so in the last stop was Namibia, where he declared that I'm 100% African, and this trip has changed my life. I will do things differently. So this is the guy who's Boris Koji is the one who says, and these two here has a program called 154. They bring all these African in the diaspora. They too are diasporas as well. So they'll talk about Africa and what's happening in Africa. So this time they were discussing Ishowspeed, and they want to work with him. And that's him being interviewed, giving feedback on the trip. And that's when he says, Africa changed my life, opened my eyes to another diameter, and he will take more responsibility in the next trips. And as we know, he was working with Wodemaya, although Wodemaya kept going behind the scenes, but Wodemaya was always there. Wodemaya is likened to Marcus Garvey because of the work he does. And now people are social media, this is how they're responding over Ishowspeed. Now he's back home. He's gone back to his room. He started again, continued streaming. He took some weeks off. He's back in his room again. I happen to have seen this Thursday that he did, and the abuse he was getting and the way he avoids it it's really so sad. But we are hated out there. It's the struggle is real. So thank you very much for the opportunity. I hope I explained, I did it justice, and it's now questions and answers. I'm not sure if I can answer them, but anyway, questions and answers. There have been songs that have now been come out in Speed's name about Africa. If I can find it, I'll play it today or another day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Chisomo, for the elaborate presentation that you have given us. Brother Joseph, Brother Coco, Brother Mafole, a hearty welcome to you as well. I think we can only do justice if the resource person, Brother Kwame, can
you're muted, but welcome.
And I think it will also be fair if we could allow some comments and questions from our meeting. Brother Kwame, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, you were muted, so I didn't hear what you said. I heard you. It's fair if, and then you went muted.
I wanted to say it would be fair if I had given you a chance to make additions, comments on what has just been presented, and then I said it will also be fair if we can give time for questions and comments before we can proceed to Brother Aspala. Thank you.
Right. Right. I can make a quick comment, but I would suggest, Chair, if it's okay with you, that we hear Ras Pala because of time, and then we respond to both presentations. I don't know what you think, but in my humble opinion, that would what I would suggest. But to answer your first question, I would like, on behalf of all of us, to thank our sister Grace Chizomo, who is also Her Royal Highness Grace Manyika, because she's royalty. We thank her for this presentation and for her humility And we all recall, and I say we, I mean those in the Conspiracism study group, will recall the persistent posting and signposting by Sister Chisomo of Ishowspeed. And here I must confess, I had no idea who he was. I had no idea what job he did. I had no idea what YouTube had become in terms of what it has done to young people like Ishowspeed. I had no idea that people like Wudemaya existed for the reasons that I know now, and the fact that he earns $100,000, I think it's per month, if I am right. This is Josumo can correct me. And the whole thing is just, for me, been transformatory, because this is the first time, and that's why I'm thanking Sachizomo so much, because I said to Sachizomo, your presentation could be the most revolutionary we have heard for a long time. And I say so because this is it. What do I mean by that? Can't you see, everyone? This is how we unify Africa. We need some young man or some young woman, a group of young men, young women, traveling around the continent, creating content for unification. This is it. The ancestors are calling upon us, I think, through this young man. The ancestors are showing us, if you want to unite a continent, you need to create content around the continent, around unification that can go viral. And Sachizomo has mentioned some of the things since she drew my attention that I have also looked at. You know, the crying, for instance, the fact that his visit basically turned upside down the use of history. For those of you who attend the philosophy class, you will know that history in chapter 2 and chapter 3 of Conspiracism, history is an instrument of ideology. So when you have an ideology that wants to destroy your consciousness about who you are historically, so if you are a king and your history has been stolen from you, and those who are meant to be the non-kings are now the kings or the queens, you know, in terms of usurpation, not because they are real kings and queens, and have turned themselves into some kind of global supremacists, you know, throwing their weight around.
Brother
And
Kwame.
so on, when they shouldn't be. Yes, sir.
I think that's your thinking on the presentation, what you are giving us.
So, yes.
And I suggest that we rather proceed to Brother Aspala, and then if that is your thinking, you can give your thinking later.
Yes, I'm happy to do that later. And I thank Sister Chizomo.
Thank you.
I thank Sister Chizomo on behalf of all of us for this wonderful presentation. Thank you.
General Anunnaki.
Yes,
General, can you unmute? And sister, before you come, General, Sister Posha, I have seen the comment in the chat, and I'm also taking notice of your hand. So can we hold all that until we have had the presentation from General Anunnaki? Thank you. Brother General, please go ahead.
yes, give thanks, Father. Greetings to everyone at large. It's nighttime here in the Southern Hemisphere. Yay. the sister here, she said a lot, spent a lot of minutes. So my presentation, I believe, is no longer going to be a presentation. I'm just going to read through my opposition key points of this young black man from America. So let's just go firstly, because my original presentation was going to be first. I explain who he is, where he comes from, his father, his mother, and all that. So she already did some of those things, which is good. So I'll just go straight to my rebuttals. So basically,
Please, Brother General, feel free to give it the way you have wanted it to give it to us. Thank you.
okay, give thanks, Father. Give thanks, Father. Yes. Yeah. Because no, I won't, ne? But it's not a problem. Don't worry. I won't be able to, because I want people to ask questions and stuff. Because we have like 30 minutes left, and my presentation was 30 minutes. So anyway, let's go. So basically, what I see here is just a young man looking for his identity and roots. So we can see basically from all the things that are happening, his climax when he was finishing his tour, the DNA test, which we know for sure that the DNA test is never accurate, but based on an algorithm set by the white man, which oftentimes will read a person from Nigeria or Ghana. So if you are from the diaspora, the DNA test, if maybe you are from Tanzania, because the DNA test algorithm does not have the data of Tanzanian clans, it's going to trace you to the closest clan, of which is going to be a clan around in Nigeria or Ghana. So the thing of DNA testing is just to show that he's still looking for his identity. He's still confused. And then let's go to the tour. The tour, it talks about he traveled 20 countries. We have 57 countries in Africa. So he traveled 20 countries, and he started in Angola, and he was supposed to end in Ghana, but he ended in Namibia. So we can see even by the traveling of his countries, these countries were pre-coordinated. You see, it's countries that are already drawn on the map. And to move further in my points, my other point is the fact that the tour was pre-packaged. It was not an organic visit to Africa. You see, that is clear with the no collaboration policy with local influencers. He never collaborated with local influencers from the respective countries he was visiting. You see. And then secondly, we talk about the no AES visits. Why would this boy or this man not visit the AES countries when we know that the AES countries are the only countries in Africa which represent the African sovereignty? But he chose not to visit these countries, instead visit the countries that had relationships with America, you see? So let's go again. This clearly tells us that his sponsorship comes from the Western civilization, which explains the expensive cars, Mercedes Benz, and what things that black people cannot create for now. So it's obviously got it from the white people. And then my last point, because I said my presentation, I'll cut it short. My disappointing is mostly with African men who are simping, begging, and having a chaotic behavior. And to the African women, I just see two emotional people. So basically, let me further explain why I'm saying that. So my disappointment is the fact that if you can check the videos of Speed, I don't know if there's anyone who can go to Google for me and search Ishowspeed chaotic scenes, and then maybe just put the picture here of one of the scenes of his chaos that he was causing as he was touring Africa. Because anyway, we know that the word tour comes from the word tourist, you see. So he was just a tourist here, coming to tour and visit impressions. It was not an African diplomatic visit or a cultural visit, because of the fact that there is no videos that shows him sitting with elders, actually having the time to conceptualize the African cultural experiences. We just see him dashing through and out. Today is here, tomorrow is there. There is no capacity or time for you to get to take in any cultural information in that manner. You see, so my disappointment, as I say in the point, is that the African men, you can see the videos, they are jumping up and down. Some African men are barking like dogs, yeah, but which is one of the things he does in his streams. Some Africans, as you heard, were causing public indecency, in a sense of they were destroying public gates, they were destroying windows. It was just a chaotic behavior. You see, there was no actually order, around him where, okay, people are humble, okay, Speed is here. What is the purpose of the visit? Okay, you want to know this? Okay, you came to us for this. There was no such instances. You see, you just see people screaming, "Woo, woo," as if they're seeing the new Michael Jackson. You see, whereas this man, he came to visit Africa to get knowledge. You can hear from his crying in the end. You can see from his crying in the end. Shows that there are things that he didn't know because he's still young. He's a 21-year-old. He's just a 21-year-old who had the lucky of YouTube. So he didn't know the things of Africa, you see. So he was supposed to come and humble and get information. And then if he was really Pan-African, he would have also visited AES. So my last points before, as I said, my presentation will be short. My last point will be the fact, wait, let me just, sorry. Yeah, so my last point will be basically him skipping the AES countries. So here is my argument. His actions, skipping the AES states and also fleeing from a hostile crowd in Algeria, and also allowing his content to devolve into chaos, shows that the roots narrative was just a backdrop of his brand. It was not the main mission of his tour. If he was truly seeking understanding, then he failed to create an environment where that understanding could actually take place. Instead, he created a spectacle, you see. So basically, the issue of too emotional, Africans generally, because of the colonialism we are currently under, Africans are generally too emotional. They crying is an everyday thing for Africans, and so there's nothing new, you see, with him and with him people crying and expressing things. So my closing remark is that if he really came to Africa to gain African culture, to show that Africa is really a cultural, not a backwards whatsoever continent, then why did he skip the very countries that represent the most significant modern movement of African sovereignty? Thank you.
Yes, General, thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. It was a very nice and abridged presentation, but I really hope you have covered what you have intended to cover. Sister Portia, before I come to you, I will give back to Brother Kwame because I have kind of cut him short while he has not concluded his thoughts on the presentation by Sister Chisomo. Brother Kwame, back to you again.
Quick one. So just to let you know, we can, if Brother Raspala, because he says his presentation was supposed to be half an hour. And so that meant that we couldn't technically accommodate two long presentations in one session, because the idea is that we complete two presentations in an hour or just over an hour, and then we discuss. So what I would suggest as a welcome is that we give Raspala some time next week to do a proper presentation, because I think we need to hear the other side of the story. So if Ras is happy with that, I will ask that he's kind of giving us an introduction to his presentation, if he can do a proper presentation next week. And Chair, so I would suggest we focus on Sister Chisomo's presentation today and consider it as the argument for the proposition, and Raspala as the position against the motion, as it were, if that's okay with you. In terms of my view, I think I've shared some, but because of time, I will not share further views, except to thank Sister Chisomo and Brother Raspala. Sister Chisomo for her very in-depth, and I'm really grateful to Sister Chisomo for educating me. I don't know about the rest of you, but I was certainly educated, not necessarily in what she's presented today, but in her constant sharing of what was going on in the online world, which traditionally in my upbringing we call witchcraft, which is that fly at night, etc., etc. So yes, I want to thank her and then thank Raspala for his introductory remarks. Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Kwame. And General, is it fine with you that you can make a follow-up presentation next Saturday?
Perfect.
Thank you. And I don't want to. They have heard from General. They could also have comments on the basis of that. Thank you. Sister Posha, your hand was first before I come in the order of Sister Tapua and then Sister Ama. Sister Posha, was it
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Welcome.
Yes.
Can you hear me all right? Thank you. All right. Thank you so much, Queen Sister Grace. Thank you so much, King Brother General. Excellent. I can't wait to hear what King Brother General brings, and I know he'll bring it next week. I'm glad that was mentioned about granting Ishowspeed graces as a youth. When I was given the Queen Mother title of development in Ghana, I was not ready. I was in my early 20s. So if we don't have that foundation, as I was saying this month about the cultural, the calculated trying to take out our culture as a Keebler however we identify, that has been ongoing for centuries. So when we don't have that foundation, like myself, I did, we are seeking and we may do stuff that is not within our indigenous culture. So granting that grace is young. And then the second point, as always, I'm just going to say it. Please don't take offense. We are all royalty. If you are a farmer, you are royal. Let us be mindful of not dividing ourselves further again about who's royalty and not royalty. And I can say that because I have been given the title of Queen Mother of Development in Ghana. So we are all royalty. And then to wrap up about checking more of what King Brother General is going to say next week. Remember, I was saying in January that Starlink, and I did look at Ishowspeed's videos. He mentioned in one of his videos he was using Starlink. And who runs Starlink? Elon Musk, South African. And is Elon Musk in the best interest of indigenous African ways, unification, liberation? So we just have to keep going under all of this stuff because it's definitely a war. it is definitely a war out here, and we do need to choose sides. Thank you.
Thank you, my sister. Sister Tapua, the floor is yours. Thank you. Sister Tapua, can you hear me? If Sister Tapua
Yes, I
cannot hear
can.
me,
Yes, I can.
Sister
Yes, I
Ama.
can. Hello? Yes, I can. It's Tapua. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you were mute the whole time. Yes, my sister,
Yes,
you
I
were
was.
mute the whole time when I was asking. Go ahead, please.
All right. Thank you very much. Um, I'd like to thank both presenters, and I'd like to thank Sister Grace for the persistent presentation of Ishowspeed on the platform, and how she got us all involved in trying to understand. Like Prof, immediately saw how just looking at him going through the continent opened eyes for people to see us as one people. And for me, it's not so much what his intention was, because it's like saying or thinking about my first visit to Europe. I had no idea. I couldn't even structure what I really needed to go and find out because I had no idea of what was really on the ground. So to judge the young man based on his foray into the continent for the first time would not be wise. And I don't think he anticipated the transformation that he himself went through, because it was not just the young people who were watching him, who were appreciating him, but he was also going through a transformation, an unexpected transformation, because he has visited other continents. And we wouldn't think that he wanted to visit Europe because he was trying to find out his European side or anything like that, or that he visited Africa because he was coming for the cultural exchange. This is a young man who's accumulating views and making money out of it. But in the process, his hallelujah moment happened, because what he saw is not even what he expected, as seen from the results. And the fact that we now understand that there were other Africans behind designing his tour, it makes it enlightening, because I can imagine Wodemaya having the experience that he has of traveling the world, truly understood that this young man would be somebody that would work positively for spreading the word about Africa, but also importantly for Ishowspeed's own development as a person. So, like what the general is talking about, he did not come with an openly conscious mind trying to unite Africa. This was a by the way. He was coming in with other intentions, but in the process, things happened. And we appreciate all that happened. Because I think one of the lessons that we've learned from defeating dictators and reading Consciencism on Thursday is that we be ready to take advantage of situations, to see where situations like what Ishowspeed has created will take us in as far as unification of Africa goes. And with this in mind, like what Prof said, it opens up our eyes into the possibilities of what we could do. I remember sometime last year or so, we were discussing how we could organize sport, organize cultural exchanges between countries so that we get to know each other. we get to appreciate that we are one people. But there are children out there who are using the systems that we as adults are not aware of, who could lead us and take the baton to the next stage. So thank you very much. And I'm looking forward to us as a group discussing how best we can follow in the footsteps, get to know Africans who will lead us and propagate the message that we have of uniting Africa, especially because the presidents wanted to jump onto the bandwagon for their own purposes. Yes, they will jump on for their own purposes, but we have our own special purpose. And I think let's keep focus on that. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. I'll end here.
Hello, is it myself next? Chair? Hello?
I hope the chair is not asleep. General, you are muted. Yeah, Sister Amma, please continue.
Sister
I don't
Amma,
know.
please
Oh,
continue.
the chair is.
Sorry, I was muted. I didn't. I've got an echo in my background. I didn't want that to disturb you.
Okay, I will try to be brief because we only have 8 minutes left. And
Please be brief.
Yes, after this session, I'm going to give some real critical feedback on the whole session. I'm thankful for the presentations up to a point, but I have to put this in the whole context of what we are trying to do and what we discuss on a Thursday. And one of the things I'm going to say is each of we needs to employ the tools we talk about on the Thursday on a Saturday, which is critical analysis. I have no issue with the young man as an individual seeking to find out more about Africa. But for us to jump from him touring 52 countries or however many to saying he is united and is a Pan-African is a massive leap. He is not promoting Pan-Africanism on a conscious level. What he's done is very superficial. His primary motive and the motive of those behind him is money. And this is what I'm going to say. Our struggle is about the masses of Africans. That's the Pan-Africanism we're talking about, making their lives better. There is an issue, and I was aware of him before this presentation and before he went to Africa. There is an issue with our young people being addicted to social media for the wrong reasons. A lot of the young people who are following him, both physically when he was touring Africa and online, they are doing it because of a desire to make the big bucks, because they are being sold a lie that you can make big bucks through social media. And it's only a few people who do. He, in my opinion, and not him as an individual, but him, not him personally, but as an individual, he is actually quite similar to the politicians who people follow around, the pastors who people follow around. And he is one of the personalities who follow people around or who people follow. I'd ask each of us to drill down and look at the content of what he produces, look at some of his past behavior, and that doesn't mean to say that he cannot change. And I'm hoping that his experience of Africa will change him. But let's not put so much on him about uniting Africa. I'll give one other name of somebody who's in a similar field to him, who to my mind is much more progressive, is a guy called Fuse ODG, because he produces progressive content. So I'm, and this is no but I think, and this isn't about anyone individually who's given a presentation, but I think we need to be more critical and we need to think influencers. And I'm very interested to hear that he was driving around the same car, because influencers have big corporates behind them. If they can draw in the crowds, then the money is pumped behind them. The big corporate advertisers will push things on them to get the followers to to buy into things. So I personally, I also have to, and this is no disrespect to the two presenters, I also have to question why we are spending so much time discussing one individual. He's not connected to any Pan-Africanist organization, as far as I'm aware. He's not connected to any Pan-Africanist. He doesn't give a Pan-Africanist message beyond. He's traveled around the length and breadth of Africa. Why are we spending so much time talking about him? I'll end on that note.
Um, thank you so much, my sister. And next, I will give my floor to Sister Ida. Your hand was up. I don't know whether it is now down forever or whether you still want to make a comment. Sister Ida.
Brother, welcome. We've only
Yes.
got 3 minutes left, and
Yes.
we have next week to continue with this topic. So I would suggest that So Chair, it's up to you, but we've only got 3 minutes. Thanks.
Sister Ida. Yes, thank you, Brother Kwame. Sister Ida, a minute for you. Then Brother Coco, a minute, and then Brother Joseph, a minute. Sister Ida is muted. Brother Joseph.
Didn't you see me?
Please
Before
take the floor.
Joseph?
Yes, Brother Coco. You can even go ahead.
I thought you said me before Brother Joseph. Okay. Thank you. With my 1 minute, I would just like to say this reminds me of Louis Armstrong, who was taken to the Congo in 1960 as they were murdering Patrick Lumumba by the USA State Department at that time. So I think we need to discuss it because he's being used to bring more visibility by the Africans who are living in the diaspora, especially in America, about what is happening in Africa. So that is happening for us. It's a benefit for us, whether it's by Pan-African lenses or not. We can discuss that next week, but we need to discuss it. But I like to remind us that Louis Armstrong was used as a Trojan horse, cultural sale by the American government as they were killing Lumumba and making sure that there is no socialism in Africa at that time. Thank you.
Thank you. Brother Joseph, 1 minute.
Yeah, you might not hear me that well here because it's raining now. But it's interesting, and I think, but I want to point out that I share totally the views of Sister Amma. But we need to discuss it more in detail because, for instance, in the Caribbean right now, the Americans are doing something where, which is trade. We are people of calypso and reggae and so on, and the other stuff don't come to mind right now. Reggae, calypso, and so on. But they're going and taking our people, Grenadians, and bringing them in the embassy in Barbados to teach them hip. So it's part of a grand plan. So, but we could discuss that next week. And so I think the presentation, we shouldn't shoot it down too much, but at least, as Sister Amma said, we should apply critical thinking to it, or analysis.
Thank you,
sorry.
Brother Joseph.
So, thank you.
Thank you, Brother Joseph. Sister Ida, you were out of the meeting and time is up. Shall you hold what you wanted to contribute to next Saturday, please?
I really hope we're not going to have a continuation of this next Saturday. It was absolutely dreadful. 2
Yes,
hours of what? How does this promote
Sister Ida,
United?
we
Yes.
certainly will hear Brother.
Oh well. Hey, enjoy
we will
yourselves.
we will hear
Dreadful.
Ras Pala on the alternative position. Sorry, Chair. I just needed to explain. We will hear Ras Pala. It's only fair that we hear Ras Pala. And Brother Kuku has also raised an issue that I think needs to discuss. Sister Amma has raised an issue. The the need for critical thinking, I don't know who we think that would come from. When we are saying there should be critical thinking, who are we expecting that to come from? That has to come from us. Is how we respond that is a criticality. And if we don't hear or listen to some of these, how do we offer the criticality that must inform the audience? Remember, our videos are going to be online, and people will hear what we are saying and come to an alternative critical view. You see, so actually we are offering education. And remember that what we are discussing today broadly is the role of social media in the amplification of the message of unification. And nobody has said that Ishowspeed is a Pan-Africanist. Sister Chizomo never did. Brother Raspala never did. Nobody has said we are listening to him because he's a Pan-Africanist. Nobody has said that. Well, what I have suggested is that, do you think that we could use the current tools that he has used for our message? But like someone said, that is something we can discuss next week. Yeah. So of course, let's have critical thinking. But there is no one person that has to do that critical thinking. All of us together have to do it. And I will urge Sister Ida to please be patient with alternative views in terms of us listening to presentations that we may not personally like, right? But that may benefit our people. Because Sister Amma always reminds us that at the end of the day, this is all about our people and their lives, how to make their lives better, you see. So I may not like a rice because I was served at a party. But if that is what will feed some people, why I'll contribute to cooking it. It may not be for me personally, but it helps the family. Anyway, brother, welcome. I'll just briefly hand over to you, just so that you can steer us towards the end, and let Brother Pigeon make the announcement, etc. And then please bring the meeting to a successful conclusion. It's already 8:04. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Kwame. Brother General Anunnaki, I've seen your comment in the chat. Can that stand over until next Saturday in the interest of time? Once again, thank you very much for a very well attended presentation. I'm so sure next Saturday we're going to have the same attendance and more, because no one has had a fair chance to make their contributions and or to ask questions, if you may, and or to make suggestions for the future path. On that note, Brother Kwame, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Brother Pigeon, over to you for possible announcement through next week to next Saturday. Thank you. Brother Pigeon, please, announcements and closure for us.
It looks like Chair. It looks like Brother Pigeon is not here. So I'll just make it very quick.
Yes.
So next Saturday we are having a continuation of the presentation on Ishowspeed. Sister Grace will summarize the presentation, and then we'll hear from Ras Pala, and then we'll have a discussion. And the discussion will be both liberal, conservative, and radical. All views are welcome because there are all sorts on the continent. So that's for next Saturday. On Monday, our reading club will read and discuss Defeating Dictators, which they've been reading. That's a book club. There is, I believe, a Swahili class. Not sure what that day is. I think it's a Tuesday. I might be wrong. However, on Thursday, there will be the Consensusism study class, where we study the philosophy and ideology of Consensusism, which is the only homegrown philosophy for the total liberation, unification, development of the African continent. And that will be on Thursday. And Chair, that is it in terms of the announcements. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Kwame. Sister Amma, I'm begging. And on that note, please, Brother Kwame, officially close the meeting for us. Thank you.
Good night.